Hello and welcome to ET Auto to our another episode of April Auto Pulse 2025 inside the shifts, surge and signals that are reshaping the automotive market. Today we are joined by Mr. Gaurav Vangal and Mr. Vinkesh Gulati to discuss and decode what lies ahead in this particular year, also what has gone in April and what are the developments in the automotive market. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Devanshu.
So, Mr. Vinkesh, I would like to understand from you how was the April and how do you see the next 2 months of this quarter in terms of overall sales as well as from the retail side? What is the consumer sentiment?
See, overall, it's a positive sentiment, and frankly speaking, when April started, we had a bit doubt because last year the Navratri was full in April, but this time we had some 3-4 odd days in March also, and you know the March pushes there because of depreciation, year end, a lot of things. But April had really done good, and we have seen overall industry around 3% growth. Today only FADA came out with a report. And if I talk about other categories, passenger vehicle is also growing at 2%, two-wheelers, except for CV, which is down by 1%, which is nominal. Overall, the industry has been good. And one more issue was in our mind because last year, if I see the Q1, which means April, May, June, the marriages were all skewed in April. So we didn't have any May, June marriages. So last year, April was good, big, if I say as compared to the other months of the quarter. But even then we got the increase of around 3%. That's an awesome figure, which clearly shows that coming months will have their own good months because the marriages are divided this time in till June end or a bit of July also. So April has been awesome. The numbers has been good. With all the cautious we had, we have seen a good number, and these external factors of today, what Trump and war and all these things are happening, or even kind of I'll say the downfall in share market and sentiments are seeing, we were a bit cautious. It may affect the market, but it had been a great month. And obviously May and June with their dates and all that and things, if external sources don't push down the sentiment, I feel we'll be continuing in a growth path going further.
Mr. Vangal, what is your opinion? You come from S&P Global Mobility. What is your forecast for the full year as well as how do you see this particular quarter, Q1?
See, one thing is clear that whatever the industry we are hearing every day, that this is a 1 to 2% growth which we are expecting in financial year. I think I'm more bit optimistic about it. I'm expecting approximately 4 to 6% growth this year. We have reasons to cite here. We understand there is a geopolitical conflict expected in the region, but yes, I do believe that India has a much better potential, and we have seen in the past also that India has how we have sailed through from the conflict issues and how the economy has done better. This is cautious, yes, definitely, but I think I am into the more positive, optimistic side, and I can give you the multiple reasons here. One, if you see today the crude oil. Crude oil is trading today morning. I was looking at it was below 60 USD per barrel. So I think this is positive for India. Second, if you go and see the dollar prices, okay, and I think we touched approximately 88, 89, and now today we are trading around 83, 84. So I think again this is going to help us. Interest rates have already been reduced. 50 basis point has been reduced. We understand there should be a lag. Monsoon is expected to be better this year. So there are multiple reasons that we are expecting that whatever industry is expecting, we are going to do better. So I am expecting around 4 to 6% growth rate in 2025-26 financial year. In 2025 in light vehicle production, I am already forecasting more than 5%.
I think that's a really optimistic approach towards what's light vehicle production. Mr. Vinkesh, do you agree with this? How do you see the real market demand, you being interacting with the customers daily? How has been the footfall and what is the overall sentiment of the customers? Both because you are dealing with the brands like Mahindra, which operates in both urban and rural areas. So would like to have your context on the rural sides of things as well.
See, overall things have improved a lot. If I talk on the rural side, the inflow has increased. Intention to purchase is now more solid in rural than before, and that is benefiting us a lot. So if you see how things have been, I'm not saying entry level market is back, it's not the way, but I think that entry level price barrier has been changed now.
Okay.
Today even rural customers are wanting to buy a better feature product. So if you see these stories going around, you will find that there was a time when we were talking of all top models being sold out. Today, even the mid models, I'm not saying the entry model, the rural customers are also wanting to buy better features. So they are going in for top plus one or top plus two, and that is in demand. Slowly and steadily, we are seeing the shift from top to the middle models, and that is really focused, or you can say that is the rural market is the catalyst there, and it is improving. Urban, yes, there is a, I'll not say it's a challenge, but yes, it's a bit subdued as of today because, like I told you, the external factors and urban get effects with the share market prices and how mutual funds are faring or how the sentiments on the corporate world is happening. But I'll not say that it's in a negative phase. Our inquiry numbers are not specific to Mahindra or any dealership I handle, but overall in the dealership, our inquiries are going down as per the ratio what we had in MOM. And even the bookings are going down. Some OEMs are still doing great. I'm happy to be in one of the OEM dealing with that. But most of the OEMs are in a fix as of today because the drop is huge. If not controlled today, it will give an effect of maybe subdued sale in a month or two later. But overall the things are positive, and I'm happy that rural is now slowly coming back and showing interest, and showing not interest in the entry level but a middle level. So it means they are also excited or enticed to buy better features.
Right. How about two-wheelers? They was the most stretched segment when it comes to the buying, purchasing. But basis the interest rate that has been cut down. What do you see, and also the marriage effect in the rural areas? How do you see the two-wheelers specifically performing in the next quarter?
Similar answer. See, two-wheeler is a more of a semi-urban and a rural phenomenon. Urban is more of a premium two-wheeler bikes and all that. Even if a urban city sells a two-wheeler, that customer belongs to rural or semi-urban who has been shifted to those places. And we are seeing the tandem there and the interest there. So whatever post-COVID we have seen two-wheeler market going down and then coming up back from the urban side and not rural side is now reversed again. Today, the rural two-wheeler sale is increasing. And similarly, we are seeing not good tandem in 100cc. I'm finding 125cc, 150cc ratio increasing even in the rural sub-dealer or the RSO market. Because two-wheeler is normally divided between a district dealer and tehsil and all going through sub-dealers. And one major thing also, a slow progress, but even electric vehicles are going towards that. So we are finding sub-dealers now wanting electric vehicles. So practically what is happening, all the OEMs don't want that sub-dealers or the rural outlets sell EV because you have to train the customer, inform, educate how to run the vehicle and the charging situation and all that. But we are getting a lot of interest there and people are buying. So slowly and steadily some rural outlets are now selling EVs after getting proper trained and doing that. So it's a positive story there. No doubt we will not see that double-digit growth what we have seen last year because now the market has stabilized and slow growth. Growth is 100% there, but it will be a slower growth than as compared to year on year on the two-wheeler side.
Got it. Coming to you, Mr. Wangala, how do you see the sentiment in the light vehicle market in terms of EVs when it comes to EVs and other fuel options? What is your forecast? How do you see the divide happening?
See, I think in the light vehicle side, if you see, if I have to go by OEM wise, this year Maruti Suzuki is going to launch two vehicles, two SUVs. So I think whatever they have done in the last year, they're going to do better because when Maruti Suzuki enters into the segments with new products, I think they just give a very high increase into the segments, right? Second, if I have to talk about, Kia is already doing better because they have the incremental volume coming from the Syros. Then I think Mahindra is already doing well. They have a huge booking pending booking there, and then they have the new vehicle which is the EV vehicles, which is the 6 and BE6 and BE9E. I think there's a good demand here. They have a bookings there, so they have to deliver. So all three vehicles, if three car makers, the major car makers, I think they're doing well. There is a concern coming from Hyundai. We all know that because
it has dropped to fourth position, in fact. for the first
okay.
time.
So this is
From Tata and Mahindra leading in the second and third.
Okay, so that's a concern from Hyundai. Tata is also struggling right now. It's not very clear, but yes, Tata also has a one new product. So incremental product action, whatever coming from the car makers, is giving us a good potential to grow upside. So that was my one of the major factors that there is a product action expected. And if you talk about, we have already covered more than 80% of the market.
Right.
So if the more than 80% of the market is doing well, then why we should grow with the very minimal number?
Right. But the still concerning is the other 5 to 6 car makers who are in the bottom and not able to gain at least 3 to 5% market share. Everyone is between 1 to 2 or 2.5%. How do you see that development, because their customers are betting money on them? What is your view?
So I think if you talk to about only Japanese car makers here, I think they have done better last year. So they are sitting at the high base, so they may go down a bit for this year. But yes, if you talk specifically about Nissan, I would say they are expected to do better, because they are going to, in terms of the light vehicle production, let me clarify this, they are expected to do well with the export market. Okay. And till now I was talking about the sales side, but in the production side, if you talk to, we have incremental volumes coming from the export market. And I think Maruti Suzuki recently in their earnings call has mentioned that they are looking for a 20% growth rate from the export market this year. So that's why I say, even though the domestic sales looks good to me, production has a better scope this year.
The picture looks good for other car makers as well. What are the markets which are performing well for us in the exports?
I think Japan is doing well right now. You know that Jimny has received a good bookings from Japan. Then we have another vehicles going from India to Japan, Japanese market. Then we have a Middle East Africa doing well. And this year we are going to add some new destinations like Europe, because there is a very clear announcement from Maruti Suzuki that they are going to launch this e-Vitara to Europe. So we are going to add this destinations. There is only one concern, that because of the tariffs, which are expected to hit the global demand, I think they can face some of heat, but to the next year, not this year. I'm expecting by if the GDP gets impacted globally, European GDP get impacted, I think there can be some to the demand in those markets. But overall, the things looks very pretty in control as of now for India.
Mr. Venkesh, let's throw some light on the commercial vehicle. It's still not very in a good stage when compared to other segments. What is the reason behind it? Is it the cyclical nature of that particular segment, or because commercial vehicle industry sales or logistics tells lots about what is happening in the economy? So what is your view on that? How do you see that coming along?
See, there are different points here. Commercial vehicle is consistent. 1% degrowth in April is not year on year, they were fine. But there are a lot of changes which is happening in that market. One big thing is the competition which has come from government only. So the rail freight which is happening, then waterways is also eating into it, and they are huge. So like if you, Maruti just said that 24% of their vehicles went through railways. So it means 24% of the vehicle transportation moved out of the road transport to railways. And when we talk of commercial vehicle, it's basically road transport. So I feel a lot of things have changed lately. And what has happened, so if you see CV, the market which was buoyant before from the 2.5 to 10 ton is actually today equal to non-existent. It is degrowing badly. There is a growth, there is a huge growth happening in the buses segment, there is a huge growth in the multi-axle, big tonner vehicles. And obviously, if the same load was needed to be transported by 3 trucks, today 1 truck is doing. So overall, if I say that commercial vehicle linked to economy, yes, it's right, we have always seen like that. But even if commercial vehicle doesn't grow, it doesn't mean that economy is not growing, because the movement is there. It is practically not happening through roads and lesser trucks are being used. With better highways, the rotation of the vehicles are faster. So I'll not say that that link still is. We can directly talk about that. But I feel yes, commercial vehicle growth will not be huge. But I don't see any degrowth happening. It will be 0 to 5% plus going on further, because things are changing faster in that direction. Multi-axle is now huge. Before we were talking of 10 tonner, 10 tires, 12 tires, 16 tires. Today nobody buys those vehicles. There was a huge market around 5 years, 10 years back. Today everybody starts at a 20 plus tire, 22 or whatever.
Right.
So it's changing the dynamics, and with all the positivity on road infrastructure, quality of vehicle, turnaround time, they need less volume of vehicles to transport the similar kind of thing. So yes, if I talk about volume, there'll be a challenge, but nothing to worry because there'll be not a degrowth going further. Majorly what we are seeing today is that a market in between, which was there 2.5 to 10 tonner, is now going bad, and the vehicle on below that is seeing a bit of growth. And as we go more down, there is a three-wheeler load market which is eating up to till 1 ton load, 0 to 1 ton load of the commercial vehicle.
Right.
So a lot of things are happening, which is I feel controlling the volume growth, but overall it's still fine.
Gaurav, would like to understand from you about the launches. You mentioned about Maruti Suzuki new launches. How do you see launches affecting the passenger vehicle market? What are any pipeline that you see that makes you say 4 to 6% of growth in the domestic market?
So, as I mentioned earlier, the launches, most of them has been announced already by the car makers. Like Maruti Suzuki has already told us that they're going to launch 2 SUVs. So one is e-Vitara and another one is another SUVs they are going to launch this year. We are expecting that should also include some of the hybrids. E-Vitara is towards the EVs, and there should be some hybrid vehicle also coming to the market, and that makes more interesting about the scenario of EVs and the hybrids. The second, we go to the Tata Motors. Tata Motors is expected to launch Sierra, I believe, this year. They have already announced, they have already showed us during the Auto Expo, Bharat Mobility Show this year. Then we go to the Kia. I think they have already launched Syros, and this year I think there are one facelift what we are expecting. I think in Clavis. This is coming. I think Karen's Clavis is expected. Even though we don't cover much on the facelift side, but yes, in the product action, I would say these 3 vehicles, which 2 is coming from Maruti Suzuki, 1 is coming from Tata Motors. Mahindra has already launched their products because they are going to add some incremental volumes to this year, because last year it was not there. Thar ROXX was not available in April. So we are expecting the numbers are coming. Then we in the launch side, if you know about Hyundai, I don't see any Hyundai vehicle this year. Maybe next year they may have a couple of vehicles coming, not this year, but because it's fully dependent on what public announcement these people have done, right? Honda has already launched Elevate. They may not have any product this year. So these are the basic reason of us for talking about the product section, the new launch.
How do you see the German brothers? They are bringing in.
See, Kailak is doing better. It is doing better than expected, I believe, and I think this is the first time they are facing the heat of ramping up. Right. Okay. Earlier the demand was never been so high for such products. I think German brothers, if you have to talk about, I think VW and Skoda, they are specifically choosing the sedan market, but now I think they have products in this SUV, but Kailak has done something better for these people.
Okay.
So any other car maker? I believe these are the major car makers for
Nissan Renault is also good.
Nissan Renault is there. I think recently they have announced some of the new product launches, but this is not coming this year. They might be coming in the coming years, not this year.
Mr. Vingesh, what happens when a new product is launched? Just for the audience, everyone knows, but let's suppose any new vehicle is launched. Does it have spillage effect on the other vehicles also? Do you manage to sell more vehicles every time? Does it create real excitement, or how it is?
See, actually, any effect a new product can have, first that the product should be good.
Yeah.
Second, the pricing should be good.
Right.
And then the total proposition on which segment they want to hit, it should be good for any OEM. These are the 3 P's which is a must. And if I go down the line, how does it affect the dealers? See, you launch anything, this is a market. It will eat on its own first, the own OEM, some part, and then the market segment. It's very difficult for an OEM to create a full new segment on its own, any product.
Right.
It cannot add 10,000 vehicle every product you launch. So it will eat something, and then they'll add around 10%, 20%. to the market and then 20-30% to the OEM also. And that is the biggest, I feel, an issue with the dealers, how to handle this, because if it is cannibalizing your own product, it's no fun having a new product.
Right.
Because if a dealer is selling 100 vehicles and a new product is launched and he does 100 only if the product shift is happening, there is no benefit, because for every new product there is a cost from an OEM which is huge, and there is a cost from dealer also, because the trainings are done, there is some POP changes happening, the PR is happening, it's a cost to the dealer also. So every new product, everybody thinks, the OEM and the dealer, that it should increase the number of retail what we do. And luckily we have seen that whenever the product price and propositions or position is good, we have always seen the numbers grow. But what actually happens, it's like it takes you a bit up, and the next year somebody launches a new product, it brings you down, but not to the level of where you were before. So it's a growth thing happening. And lately what we have seen, the major growth in product launches have been in SUVs, and differentiators have been majorly the features. So slowly and steadily all the products are becoming Me Too product because of the government guidelines and the efficiency guidelines, but still now features have become a differentiator, the looks have become a differentiator, and some OEMs have studied it well. I feel their customer research department is doing awesome, because so if it's a similar product they may be already having, but a new product which is similar to the old product still gives you that kind of eyeballs, that kinds of hype. It increases the inquiry on the floor, which is easily changeable. But yes, a new product is also a problem on the other side, because you cannot judge the customer even before the product is launched. So what kind of colors you should keep in stock, what kind of features or variants you should keep in stock is always a problem. So first 6 months, it's a big issue for the dealers. Obviously it's for an OEM also, but on the dealer side, because a normal dealer doesn't have that kind of tools to forecast if this product comes in, what colors will sell and what features will sell in my area, and how many additional numbers will I get, so what to invest in it, and what to give information to customer about it, how, so that it's easy, goes on the availability part. So you have seen whenever a new product is launched, it normally goes for a big waiting period. 6 months down the line it comes down. The best thing for a dealer or an OEM is, even if it comes down, it should add to the total volume. And luckily, there are some OEMs which have been able to track this and manage this well. There are many OEMs who couldn't, because whatever they launched, they ate in their own basket. So total number didn't grow, and that's a problem.
Right. Gaurav is very confident about the production side.
Yeah.
Now, the most important part for the dealer is inventory. What is the current status of inventory? Is it high? It is manageable? What is the dealer confidence, particularly when it comes to inventory and financing?
See, I'll be very frank. Inventory is normally not the first concern of a dealer. The first concern of the dealer is retail. If I am growing year on year, I am able to sell more vehicles, even if 5-10%, be very clear, 5-10-15% inventory goes up, it doesn't matter, because it's being subsidized by the sales what we are getting. The problem happens when this gap is huge. The expectation of sale and the production, when it doesn't match, then there is a bigger problem and inventory goes up. As of today, even today FADA has come up with the report which it says it's around 50 days inventory in the passenger vehicle segment. We at FADA has always quoted 21 days as good, but even 30 days is normal. Anything above that is a problem.
Okay.
And what the bigger problem is, whichever OEM is doing good, like Gaurav said, the growth is happening. He named some 2-3 OEMs which he's confident will go above 5%. There will be some which will be normal, so overall average will come as 5%. So their inventory is never an issue, because the demand is there, sales is going.
Right.
It's basically the transit time or PDI time or the receivable times which is happening, which means something is happening on the vehicle and the customer. The problem is others, where there is no bigger sales and the production line is working. Because you cannot tune the production line seasonally, every month going down and up. If the production line has to produce around 10,000 vehicles per month, they'll do 9,500 or 10,000. They can't make it to 6,000 as per demand. And that is where the dealers get skewed because we can only sell the vehicle. No OEMs can sell it.
Right.
Whatever they say that this is the sale, that is why FAD has always said, if OEM says I have done 1 lakh vehicle, it's not a sale. It's the
Just a
transfer
dispatch.
of stock. It's the money transfer and stock transfer, not the sale. They cannot sell even a single vehicle to anybody in the world. They have to sell it only through dealers, unless and until they are going to D2C. So it happens with us, and that is where we get skewed when the inventory goes high, because we are at a very thin margin of 3 to 3.5%. And 1 month of stock, seeing the current interest rate, which is around 9 or 10, it's 1%. If the inventory is 50 days, it means we are at 1.5 or 1.6%, which means we are left with only half a margin to manage our overheads and please the customer, give test drives, put all costs there and all that. So that is why inventory is better if it is controlled. Is better for customer also. They get a faster vehicle which has just been produced 30 days back or 40 days back. Better for OEM also, and better for dealers also. So that's how.
Right. So okay.
So just one thing, as sir mentioned that FADA is giving the inventory data, and let me be very honest, I follow it very rigorously. And if you go and check the last year data, you will see that there is a reduction in these numbers. Okay. And even in the last month also, it was 60 days, 55 to 60 days. Now it was last time it was 50 to 55 days. I don't know about today's announcement what was the number, but interestingly, these numbers has gone down. And sales were sustaining, demand was sustaining, and demand was sustaining because of the high discounts. Okay, even though the price hikes were there from last 6 months, I think there was continuous price hikes. I think price hikes should get paused now. For at least for next 6 months, 6 to 8 months.
Happy to hear that.
It should, because the commodity prices are going down, global demand is hitting. So I think that should get paused, and demand should sustain with the discounts in domestic market.
And the problem is, whenever a price hike happens, they give a lot of reasons. The raw material cost is going on, the crude prices, the dollar prices, blah blah blah. And whenever those subside, the price doesn't come down. I don't know. If it is related, it should be related on the positive side and negative side also. But it's normally related going up, not coming down.
But it shows a healthy picture for the car makers that their margins must be improving.
So one last question just to end this discussion now about the electric vehicles and hybrid divide. How do you see? It's not about who's doing better or who's ahead of what. But on the products mix side of things, we have hybrid vehicles also doing well, and then there are EVs. And there is a strong force towards EVs, and some governments are also pushing hybrids. How do you see the overall market, Indian market, in the fuel mix?
See, I would say that EV, we all know that EV is going to come at one day, right? But I always believe in the short term, the hybrids are very keen. It's a very, if you go and check the performance of the recent hybrid vehicles launched, right, they were on the long booking periods, while EVs, if you go and check that, I think EVs has a issue of sustaining demand, this particular models I'm talking about, right. Recently, I think Windsor has done well, very well, and they are sustaining the numbers. But yes, I believe that we need to wait and watch, because this year there are a lot of action expected on the EVs. Hybrid may not get such high number product action this year, but yes, in going forward, you may see every car maker coming on.
But do you believe hybrid is slowly replacing diesel?
I think that contest is running with the CNG, right? CNG and diesel is been talked about, that how CNG is replacing the diesel, not the hybrid as of now.
Because of the delta, that hybrid is still expensive.
Yes.
But I have a different opinion.
Yeah, please.
It could be from the production side. I don't remember any OEM which has launched an hybrid and sees an increase in market share or numbers of vehicles.
That is a good.
I see an electric vehicle being launched and numbers going up. Tata got that 50,000 when they started doing 6,000, 7,000 of electric vehicles. Right. I didn't see Maruti selling hybrid and growing in market share or numbers. So what is happening? What is happening? Hybrid is just an alternative to petrol, what the vehicles there is. EV is actually not a replacement of now. It creates more customers.
And also, it's not a new vehicle altogether.
Yeah, and it creates more customer. So maybe we can say that if hybrid wasn't there, they would have degrown. I agree. It could have happened that way. But I haven't seen any strong OEM, any OEM showing a strong positive because they've launched an hybrid.
Right.
But I can cite the reason here. There's a capacity constraints. Whenever the products been planned, there's specific volumes been planned behind it, right? Even though we get the good market response, product or the car makers take time to respond to the market because the development is been planned accordingly to those volumes. That is the reason you never see that hybrid volumes are going much incremental way, the way EVs can be supported, because whenever you plan EV, you plan with a very high numbers because you need to reach the economies of scale.
You have to have a fresh line for
right,
that,
you have a new fresh line coming out. In the hybrid, it becomes very difficult. And right now, we've been limited with the number of products available for the hybrids. I am saying when the product will increase, which is expected to happen maybe in coming years, because most of the car makers are looking at this market very rigorously daily, that how Toyota and Maruti able to sustain the numbers and how long the waiting periods are for these vehicles, right? So I think competitor is going to react on it at one point of time, and then when you see the product action, then that time you may see the volumes are going up. But as of now, because EV is having a lot of vehicles coming this year, starting from 2025, even PLI is going to kick off because some of the vehicles are going to do SOP this year. I think you will see that EVs are going to pick up very faster rate. But don't I always say don't underestimate the hybrid potential specifically in the Indian market, where the value conscious buyers are in tremendous amount.
But tell me one thing, I'll just pitch in. The way the battery prices are going down, lithium or whatever they use are going down, if in 2 years down the line hybrid actually comes through from all the OEMs and EV prices become so low that they are equal to an ICE price, will people still pay for extra price for the hybrid?
Sir, I may not like to answer. Let's wait and watch this, because there's still an issue of range anxiety and the charging points of EVs. Even though government is working very hard on it, even car makers are also working. But yes, let's wait and watch that how the things are going to roll up in the Indian market.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.